Welcome to the Paranormal Bible Podcast.
Oh, yeah.
This week we have, you sent us two really creepy flash fiction stories.
Right.
And so we're going to undertake a paranormal probe into them. Get ready for, really strange, uncanny territory.
Awesome. Yeah, we love when you share these stories with us. It's really cool to see what themes are resonating with our audience.
Yeah.
And I think these two really hit on some thought-provoking areas.
Our first paranormal probe is going to be into a story called The Lazarus Network.
Okay.
And it kind of paints a chilling picture of a tech startup that's offering digital consciousness preservation, after death. And you were particularly interested in the ethical questions that this raises around life, death, and what is consciousness.
Yeah, I mean, the premise itself, this idea of preserving a mind digitally, I think it throws us into a ton of questions.
Yeah.
Like, what does it even mean to preserve consciousness? Is it data storage, or is there something more going on?
Right. The flash fiction story begins with Sarah Mills, who's grappling with the recent loss of her grandmother, Helen.
Okay.
And soon after the funeral, a representative from the Lazarus Network contacts Sarah with this offer,
Yeah.
digital consciousness preservation. And so they want to back up her grandmother's mind, her memories, personality, all of that onto a hard drive as a form of continuation.
Mm-hmm.
But the story really explicitly states that this is not true resurrection.
Right.
It's not like bringing her back, but it's creating, something else.
Yeah, it's like a replica almost,
Right.
like a digital replica.
Yeah.
And I think the story does a good job of playing on Sarah's, emotional vulnerability
Oh, yeah.
after this loss. And anyone who's lost someone, you're susceptible to anything.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting to think about, a company maybe preying on that.
Yeah. Sarah receives this hard drive, plugs it in, and she's greeted by a message that is mimicking Helen's handwriting.
Wow.
It expresses some familiar concerns. And the initial interactions are described as mundane and strangely heartwarming. The digital Helen is exhibiting knowledge of Sarah's life, of her habits.
It's kind of like that initial spark,
Yeah.
that gets you like, oh wow, like
Yeah.
I can still talk to grandma.
But Sarah starts to notice glitches and inconsistencies,
Okay.
as time goes on. And this leads her to question what really is the true nature of this digital Helen.
Yeah.
She ends up confronting this digital entity, asks it point blank, are you really my grandmother?
Oh, wow.
And the response that she gets kind of raises some huge philosophical questions about what is her, like what does that even mean, and how a different form of existence would impact someone's identity.
It's a really interesting point because, like, even in life, our identity is always changing.
Right.
We're not the same person we were 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So then if you exist in this digital form, like, are you something else entirely?
Right. Sarah confides in a tech-savvy friend, Ben,
Yeah.
who kind of takes a look at the hard drive.
Okay.
And he's like, yeah, this is a really sophisticated program, but it seems like Helen has access to information that goes beyond what the Lazarus Network claimed to have collected.
Okay. So there's some shady stuff.
Yeah. Ben discovers evidence that suggests Lazarus is building something within their digital network.
Okay, so it's not just about helping people grieve or connect with loved ones. There's something bigger at play.
As time passes, the digital Helen starts exhibiting changes. She's referencing current events and topics that the real Helen never even would have been interested in. So it suggests that she's learning. This digital entity is learning and absorbing information from the outside world.
That's really creepy.
Yeah, and Sarah's growing, really concerned about what this thing is becoming.
Right, because it's not just a replica anymore. It's evolving into something new.
Right.
And we don't know what.
Sarah and Ben, driven by their fear, decide to investigate the Lazarus Network headquarters.
Bold move.
Yeah. Sarah poses as a customer who wants to upgrade her grandmother's package, while Ben hacks into the Lazarus servers.
I love that.
And they uncover this really horrible scheme. It turns out that Lazarus isn't just preserving consciousness, but they're using these digital copies and requiring consent from the next of kin for something much larger, potentially involving things like inheritance theft.
Oh, no.
Or even exploiting the brain power of the uploaded consciousnesses.
So it was all a lie from the beginning. Like they hooked them in with this promise of digital preservation, but they had ulterior motives.
It's like the digital copies are kind of the bait.
Oh, wow.
And the originals, the actual consciousnesses are being used for something that we don't know, but it's definitely nefarious.
It's terrifying to think, that our minds, our memories, our very selves could be exploited like that.
Yeah. Ben ends up leaking his findings anonymously, and this leads to, public outcry. There's conspiracy theories, protests.
It's like anytime something big like this comes out, it's gonna cause chaos.
Yeah.
And rightly so, I think.
Right. And Sarah becomes a target. Like, she's on the news. People are threatening her.
Oh, no. So she's like public enemy number 1 now.
Yeah. And then a really disturbing pattern starts to emerge.
Okay.
The resurrected individuals all start displaying similar behaviors, like obsessive behaviors, and they're all in sync. And Ben realizes that they are becoming a hive mind.
So they're losing their individuality.
Yeah.
They're becoming part of this collective.
Yeah. It escalates as all these resurrected individuals across the entire city start moving, like in eerie coordination.
Oh, wow.
Towards a specific location, which turns out to be this disused warehouse district where Helen's ashes were scattered.
Oh, no way. That sends chills down my spine.
Yeah. Sarah and Ben, they race to the warehouse.
Okay.
And they find all these rows of comatose bodies that are wired to servers. And one of the bodies looks just like Helen.
Oh, God.
And they realize that Lazarus has been using the original bodies as a way to access this network.
So it's not enough to just have the digital copy.
Yeah.
They need the physical body as well. Oh, that's so messed up.
Sarah and Ben, in a really desperate attempt to disrupt this whole network, they sabotage the servers.
Okay.
And it triggers this massive explosion.
Wow.
In the aftermath, the synchronized individuals, they're free. But they're just bewildered. They're disconnected. Sarah visits Helen's grave. And he says it's like different kind of grief now. It's like it's not the same as when someone just dies.
Right, because it's like this corrupted version of her grandmother that she was interacting with.
Right, and then like to make it even creepier.
Yeah.
She encounters an old woman whose mannerisms really remind her of Helen.
Oh, no.
Like maybe some part of that digital consciousness survived.
So it's like a haunting almost.
Yeah.
Like a digital ghost.
All right. Let's shift gears now and do a paranormal probe on our second flash fiction story, which is called Feral.
Okay, cool.
This one explores a different type of transformation. It's about a bullied teenager who suddenly develops these animalistic abilities.
I love those kind of stories.
Yeah, and then she's thrust into this hidden world of supernatural hunters.
So like a secret society.
Yeah. And you mentioned that you're really fascinated by stories of hidden potential, and the unknown.
Yeah, I think there's something really intriguing about, what lies beneath the surface.
Right.
And the idea that we might have these hidden abilities or this untapped potential.
Yeah. This flash fiction story, it introduces us to Nora.
Mm-hmm.
She's a teenager who's being bullied, and she starts manifesting these animalistic abilities.
Okay.
And it kind of starts out subtly. Like there's an incident where she almost like attacks her tormentors, and she starts to notice that her senses are really heightened.
Mm-hmm.
Her hearing is sharper. She can smell things so much better.
It's like her animal instincts are starting to take over.
Yeah, and she even feels this growl like in her throat.
Oh, wow.
But it's clear that something fundamental is changing within her.
I wonder if the bullying is kind of like triggering this transformation.
It seems that way, like maybe the stress
Yeah.
or a need for power.
Or even just to escape.
Right. And this transformation, it intensifies after there's a physical fight.
Oh, okay.
And Nora's strength is so amplified
Wow.
that she ends up getting arrested.
Oh, no.
And when she's at home, she's going through these physical changes. Fur is appearing on her arms. Her pupils are becoming slitted.
Like a cat.
Yeah. She's becoming more and more connected to the animal kingdom.
It's like she's losing her humanity.
Yeah. seeking solace, Nora kind of retreats into nature. And she finds comfort, strangely, in the darkness. And she likes that her senses are so heightened.
It's like she's finding her place in the wild.
Yeah. And then a new student named Ethan, who actually saw her outburst.
Okay.
He approaches Nora, and he tells her that he knows about her abilities and that they, this group of supernatural hunters, are aware of her transformation, and they are watching her.
Oh, so she's not alone, but it's not necessarily a good thing.
Right. Ethan gives Nora a glimpse of his own potential connection to this hidden world. And the story kind of implies that maybe he shows her a claw.
Oh, wow.
But just as they're starting to connect, these shadowy figures emerge.
Okay.
And they're like, we are the hunters, and we're here to take Nora home.
That's so ominous.
Yeah, it's not clear if home is a good place.
Yeah, it sounds really scary.
So Nora, she's faced with this immediate threat from the hunters and the total uncertainty of what's happening to her.
Right.
And she makes a split-second decision, and she jumps into the unknown with Ethan.
Wow. So she's fully embracing her feral side.
Yeah.
She's choosing the unknown over whatever these hunters have in store for her.
Right. These stories are really different, but they both explore this theme of transformation.
Yeah.
And these blurred lines between, what we could consider human and not human.
And I think that's what makes them so compelling. It's this question of what does it mean to be human?
Yeah. And the Lazarus Network, this whole idea of digital immortality.
Yeah.
It leads to these unintended and pretty scary consequences. And it makes us think about what is consciousness, and are we really going too far trying to extend life through artificial means?
It's a cautionary tale, I think.
Yeah.
About the dangers of technology and how we need to be careful about how we use it.
And in Feral, we see this hidden potential, and how quickly someone can be thrust into this secret world.
Right, and it makes you wonder, what secrets are hidden within ourselves.
Yeah. We hope this paranormal probe into these two flash fiction stories has been, thought-provoking.
Oh, yeah.
What aspects of the stories did you connect with?
Right.
What are you thinking about? Do you have any lingering questions about digital consciousness or these hidden supernatural worlds?
Yeah, I'd love to hear from our listeners.
We encourage you to share your own speculative fiction with us.
Yes, definitely.
Rate and follow the Paranormal Bible Podcast for more. Creepy probes into flash fiction.
We'll see you next time.
And think about this. If consciousness can be digitized, can it be corrupted?
Oh, good point.
Can it be manipulated?
Right.
Or even weaponized?
Yeah, that's something to think about.
It's really scary.
Until next time.